it going? How's it going, guys? I get to show off the new screen. I'm so excited. This one. Hi, everyone. What you having for dinner? Yeah. I had it for a couple months. I just haven't had the time to do reading ASMR in a while. Yeah. I think the first thing we're gonna have to start with is the proposal. I have like 12 of these up. Shadows, I have just started. Sir. Sir, I have just started. You cannot hydrate me when I just start. For fuck's sake. For fuck's sake. Fine, I will go grab some water. Hi, everyone. Sorry, Shadows decided like 2 minutes into my stream to make me get water. He sucks. Reading. This is SD-Lock's proposal, SCP-001. I love it. You find the access tunnel hidden within a natural cave a mile off the main road. You don't need the key card. The door is ajar. It smells here. It smells like them. Hopefully, they've moved on. You've come so far already. You can't turn back now. There is a slick trail that leads from the cave entrance into the depths of the site. If it's blood or shit, or something that smeared off one of those things, you cannot tell. You make a point to avoid it. You're still receiving the distress signal. It only started broadcasting yesterday. Whoever it is, you pray they're still alive. Your footsteps echo throughout empty corridors. Each footfall sounds for all the world like a dozen, as if you're not treading through the dark alone. The elevator is down, so you take the stairs, ending on the floor B5, Keter holding. You pass several empty containment chambers. The horrors they once held are long gone. If you're lucky, the trail takes you to an office branching off the main hall. The source of the signal. The door is cracked open, but stuck. You plant your feet, push with all your might. Something skitters out of one of the rooms to your left and around the corner before you can get a good look at it. Your first thought is dog. It was on the ceiling though. And OBS dies. The death of OBS is a real one, chat. Oh goodness. Oh god. OBS is being shit today, guys. The trail takes you to an office branching off the main hall. The source of his signal. The door is cracked open, but stuck. You plant your feet, push with all your might. Something skitters out of one of the rooms to your left and around the corner before you can get a good look at it. Your first thought is a dog. It was on the ceiling though. You take refuge in the room, slam the door behind you. It's dark here. You're so dirty. You take refuge in the room, slam the door behind you. It's dark here. You're safe. You take off your jacket and head wrap. It'd be a damn shame to die from something like hypothermia after all that's happened. The sole operating emergency light rotates in its casing, casting a pale orange glow across the room every other second. As if the room itself had a pulse. There's shelving haphazardly placed behind the door. A barricade. You scan the room, soiled clothes, half-eaten food, despite the presence of an adjoining bathroom. There is excrement in a bucket in the corner. A pneumatic chamber, northern wall, would have been delivering consumables to the occupant. The trail terminates in the corner of the room, forming a sick puddle. You spot 3 pharmacy bottles. Further inspection reveals them to be various opioids. They're all empty. There's a desk with a computer atop it. Approaching the terminal, you can clearly see the blinking light of the power button. You take a seat and turn it on. Emergency protocol activated. Clearance level safeguards removed. Full access granted. Secure, contain, protect. You hear footsteps just outside the door. Every first step comes down heavy. The second drags behind it. A dark shape blots out the light streaming in through the slit between the floor and the doorway. You tense up, waiting with bated breath, praying it will pass. You damn the deafening thumping of your heart for betraying your position. The shadow recedes. You breathe a sigh of relief just as the screen comes to life. Opening file. Automated secure system notification code 235. Open parenthesis ASSN hyphen 235 close parenthesis. There has been an error in retrieving the current iteration of the SCP-001 file. You are currently viewing revision number 3. Newer revisions can be accessed at the bottom of this page. This is SCP-001 Revision 3 with 1 audio file. SCP Item SCP-001 Object Class Apollyon. Special Containment Procedures. Due to its nature, SCP-001 cannot be contained. Survivor of the SCP-001 event station within the secure facilities are to remain in contact with one another. Personnel are encouraged to attempt to reach Site 19, by any means at their disposal. Personnel with knowledge as to the whereabouts of the O5 Council are to relay this message to the Administrator. Survivors attempting to travel outdoors must fully cover their bodies in protective clothing, preferably several layers. Travel by foot should be limited as much as possible. Cities and man-made structures in general provide the greatest protection. Formerly a wooded area should be circumvented. Travel by air is preferable above all other methods. Personnel exposed to SCP-001 are to be considered lost. Compromised personnel are to be abandoned. Euthanization is not to be attempted. Collective instances of SCP-001-A that are of formidable size are to be avoided at all costs. Conductive electrical weapons have proven partially effective at immobilizing instances and may be used for self-defense. Incendiary weapons work as well. Cryonic munitions are the most effective thus far. Testing has revealed that SCP-001-A is relatively safe to consume. This is only to be considered as a last resort in the absence of other options. As SCP-001-A may reconstitute within the digestive system, only small portions should be consumed at a time to prevent blockage. Personnel stationed at Site 19 are to pursue research concerning off-world colonization. Shuttles must be constructed as to not allow light to penetrate the interior. Nice job, Pumpkin, with the 10-stream streak. You're as cute as always. To those of you with families or, God forbid, children, I'm deeply, deeply sorry you must push on. Do not let their death be in vain. We do still have time. Humanity may still have a future. Come to Site 19. We need all the hands we can get. Learn to embrace the darkness, friends. Fear the light. This is Locke's proposal. I don't know which one this is, but there's a lot. There's a lot of 001s. The description is as followed. SCP-001 is a designation given to the Sun after an event on System Error Data Loss EC-172 Context System Admin, resulting in 6.8 billion casualties within the first 24 hours. This event has been categorized as XK... I forgot what the triangle was called, class. Solar Singularity Scenario. The SCP-001 effect does not seem to result from exposure to ultraviolet rays, but rather light in the visual spectrum. Open parentheses, tilde, 390 to 700 nm, close parentheses. The effect is similarly, I cannot speak. Similarly, there we go, present in moonlight. Upon contact with visible light produced by the sun, living living organisms liquefy at the point of contact, with the effects spreading until the entire organism is converted. Visually, this is reminiscent of melting wax. The time this takes is largely dependent on the levels of exposure and size of the organism. Despite this restructuring, at no point do living organisms perish. Upon completion, these organisms, SCP-001-A, take on a gelatinous consistency. Motile organisms will attempt to orient themselves in a fashion reminiscent of their previous form, varying degrees of success. Flora typically remains physically inert, yet are still capable of photosynthesis and still produce oxygen. Organisms capable of flight lose the capability to do so. Fauna remains sentient and display behavior that parallels their non-anomalous counterparts when not absorbed into a collective instance. Humans retain a modicum of sapience and memory. Biological anomalies exposed to SCP-001 are affected in the same manner. It seems that exposure nullifies any previously expressed anomalous characteristics. Due to their composition, instances of SCP-001-A that make contact with one another may combine and blend at a molecular level. This does not seem to cause any pain or distress to the instances, though the resulting bulk can inhibit movement. Since the SCP-001 event, most instances have congregated into such collectives, which seem to possess no maximum volume. The resulting biomass is amorphous and chaotic. The competent organism will shift between a full to semi-liquid state. Limbs and bodies will rise periodically from within the mass for a short duration, before deteriorating and being subsumed by another life form. That's a bit gross. Collective instances will locomote by using their appendages in tandem to carry their mass. Larger instances will form a pseudopod from their masculine life form and drag themselves about in a manner similar to amoeba. So, I am taking requests. I have a lot from my community last night, but some of them are like really short, so I'm kind of just chilling. Also, I used to listen to creepypastas when I went to bed because I was a weird one. Right now we have SCP-5000, 166, 682, 9787, 914, 169, 701, 2718, and 6101. Open attached file. Audio log. Access granted. A harsh static clashes out of the speakers when you open the file. It disturbs the stillness of the room and catches you off guard and quickens your heart's pace. There's some handling noise as the recorder adjusts their microphone. A brief moment of silence passes, and then... $5,000 is the next one after this. 601 if I want to feel good, and 902. 9002 if I want to laugh. Okay, that works. I don't know 4,999, but my favorite is SCP-999. That's cute. Cute slime. This is Dr. Loganidata, level 3 researcher. There's a quiver in her voice that betrays her attempts at professionalism. She pauses, takes a deep breath, and continues. Due to sites 46 possession of several communicable info hazards. We have been cut off from the rest of the network under blackout protocol. As such, I'll be updating this as we come across new information. On the bright side, we are actually still receiving transmissions from a few sites. A good number of personnel have made it seems. Some are planning to make a break for 19. Some are trying to fight the dash. As some, like us, are simply biding their time. Our site is sealed for the time being, and we're not ready for such a journey. At least, not yet. She sighs. We experienced a containment breach a few days ago. One of the higher maintenance humanoids broke loose. Son of a bitch compromised containment on half a dozen ketters and ran off. They didn't make it more than 5 feet from the tunnels before collapsing in a soup. I watched it play out on the cams. It didn't take long for them to get back up. She stops again, mutters to herself incomprehensibly, before you hear the unmistakable sound of a match strike. She exhales audibly. Much better. Not exactly a designated smoke area, but what the hell, right? She clears her throat. Commander Nunn suited up and went to town on them the next day. Tried to drive them off. It didn't turn out very well, poor bastard. But we did learn a thing or two at least. There's only a few of us left here. I'm holed up in one of the offices. Jerry and Director Phillips are somewhere in the barracks. Clyde and a few Ds locked themselves in the armory with Ari. I really should see how she's doing. She trails off for a moment before you hear the buzz of radio chatter. Hey hon, how you holding up down there? A voice responds, a man with an exaggerated mocking tone. I don't want to read that. I'm doing just fine, Poopsykins. I just want you to know that I love you bunch of, I don't like this Zulu language. Ew. Logan shoots back. Who? Knock it off and put her on. Damn it, I need to speak with her. There's a clamor on the other end while the radio changes hands. A soft voice calls out concern. Babe, what's wrong? Logan responds. Nothing. I just wanted to check in real quick. Ari, please. I'm fine, babe, really. I can take care of myself. A creak. Logan shifts in her seat. No. I know that. I can't help it, though. I know coming here was never easy for you. Logan continues. And with everything going on, Ari interrupts her. Hey, you told me you quit smoking. There's a ruckus as Igata presumably attempts to snuff her cigarette. Oh, no, of course not. I mean, I did stop. Ari doesn't sound convinced. I don't think I'm the one you need to worry about. I'm staying clean. I haven't even thought of touching mestics in months. Trust me. Anyways, since you were wondering, I'm fine. The guys are sitting around playing cards. I'm tucked in the corner with my notebook. You can practically hear Igata smiling as she jokes. Sweetheart, penning a sonnet about my undying love at a time like this? I'm flattered. Ari responds with a faint laugh. Don't you laugh at me, Smuggles. An elegy. At this moment, I feel like I don't keep myself busy doing something. I'll go crazy, lockdown here. I know what you mean, hon. I'll let you get back to it. I love you, Ari replies. Love you too, babe. A moment of silence, then a match strike followed by an audible exhale. And that's all of us. Everyone else was either topside during the event, or they were killed in the breach. Director's orders are to stay put. Keep an eye on the cams, both in and around the facility. We've got the 001 skips beating at our front door. And God knows what else is locked in here with us. We still have electricity. We should for quite some time. And the place is stocked with enough supplies to last the site a couple years. We're going to be fine for now. Everything's gonna be fine. She waits a beat before ending the transmission. Access file SCP-001 revision number 5 out of 12. Incident report appended. Revision 5 out of 12, updated 1,202 days ago. Item SCP-001, Object Class Apollyon. Special containment procedures, no changes submitted. Information collapsed. Description, no changes submitted. Information collapsed. Open attached file 001.1. Access granted. They've just been sitting out there this whole time, calling out to us, begging for us to come outside. The noise drew in more of them. There's this one mass that I'm sure must have a few dozen people and God knows how many animals roiling around inside it. Screams and bleats and screeches and howls non-stop, louder than all hell. The worst ones make this disgusting moaning, like they're actually enjoying it. They're not going to leave so long as they know we're down here. We managed to talk to one of the D's into going out, see if he couldn't draw them away. He was surprisingly okay with the plan. All he asked for was a gun, and a single round. He made it out there, and one got a hold of him, tried to get his mask off. He managed to work the pistol up beneath his chin in time, and got it off. I figured he was lucky. After he fell limp though, it kept working at his suit. Pried off the hood, poured itself inside, began tearing it off him from within. He came back, started changing, tripping out of the suit, and screaming, and screaming, and screaming. They won't even let us die. The director has a plan. There's an escape tunnel hidden in his office. Tram under the side will take us to a safe house. We should be able to start towards 19 from there. Access file SCP-001 revision 8 of 12 plus 1 attachment. Item Revision 8 of 12, updated 1200 days ago. Item number SCP-001, Object Class Apollyon. Special containment procedures, no changes submitted. Information collapsed. Description, no changes submitted. Information collapsed. Open attached file. Video file. Access granted. You see her for the first time. Dr. Igata is seated where you are now. She has a pained look. Her eyes are bloodshot. A large, wet, reddish-black blotch is formed on her breast pocket. She draws a shuddering breath, parts her lips as if to speak, and chokes out, the tunnel flowed in through the ceiling, dragging them into the light and ripping off their clothes, and she reaches into her breast pocket and withdraws a finger. The glint of a wedding ring is visible above the severed portion. She holds it close in cupped hands and runs a thumb across the glimmering band. She sits like this for an eternity, whispering apology after apology, begging forgiveness, lost in the moment. She looks up after some time. There's a look of realization when she sees she's still recording. Before she places the digit back in her pocket, she leans forward, as if to turn off the camera when our radio crackles to life. It broadcasts a white noise for a few seconds, and then a voice that sets you on edge. It's Ari's. Logan? It's Ari's. Almost. Her voice has been taking on a disgusting, gurgling tone. Characteristics of the affected. Logan's jaw drops. What little color was left in her face drains. It speaks out again. Oh, where are you? Why can't I get back inside? Are you there? Yeah, Smug. Logan rummages beneath the desk for a moment and produces a handheld radio. Her hands are shaking. The thing implores her. Its inhuman speech curdles your stomach. Babe, it's alright. I'm alright, really. It's a bright, sunny day, and you're just wasting away down there. Logan is in tears, her fingers hovering just above the call button. The RE thing draws a deep, wet breath and speaks. Such a beautiful, clear blue sky. Just like that day. Do you remember, babe? Logan withdraws a cigarette with her free hand, followed by a pack of matches. Her shaking thwarts the first two attempts to light it. She swears silently, third time's the charm, and she inhales a quarter of it in a single drag. The RE thing continues. It was so perfect. Everything was how I always dreamt it would be. You planned exquisitely. I'd never felt so in love. You even had a band play our song. It starts singing. Golden days, in the sunshine of a happy youth. Logan begins rocking back and forth in her chair. Golden days, in the sunshine of a happy youth. Logan hurls the radio across the room. It smashes somewhere off camera. It's still somewhat operational, and you can still hear the thing singing. More voices join in the chorus as the radio slowly loses life. A few, a dozen, then more. Golden days. In our hearts we remember them all else above. Days of youth and love. They continue singing until the radio mercifully dies. Logan rushes out of her chair, and you can hear her vomiting off screen. The video films the empty seat for several minutes before she returns to end the feed. Something isn't right. A lingering, paranoid sensation washes over you. You're being watched. You defensively dart your eyes about, though they take a second to adjust to the darkness beyond the monitor. The emergency light sweeps across the room, stretching and twisting. The shadow's beyond recognition, and that's when you spot it. There, in the corner, coming out of the puddle. Time slows to a halt. A pair of hands, coated in the lustrous black slime you followed through the facility, are on either side of the sickening pool, as if something beneath the floor is bracing itself, trying to lift itself up. Something inhuman. The head comes next, rising from the muck. Matted hair conceals its face, plastered over it by the mystery fluid. It turns in your direction. It stares at you from the corner, which once again falls into darkness. The emergency light continues its journey across the room. It washes over the puddle again, revealing nothing out of the ordinary. Access file SCP-001, revision number 9 of 12, with one attachment. Revision 9 out of 12, updated 986 days ago. Hi Dusk, how are you? Item SCP-001, Object Class Apollyon. Special Containment Procedures. No changes submitted. Information collapsed. Description. No changes submitted. Information collapsed. Open attachment. Access granted. Dr. Regatta appears on the monitor. She has lost weight. Her eyes are bloodshot and wide. On the table before her lay a knife, a bowl, and a stack of manila envelopes filled with yellowing pages. Atop this stack is a blood-stained parchment. Despite the things we have to deal with here at the Foundation, I always believed we would be able to maintain control. We would hold the darkness at bay, let mankind flourish in the light. Site 19 stopped broadcasting last month. It's been getting harder and harder to find a reason to keep going. Especially without... She grabs a knife, contemplates it for a moment. I keep going over it again and again in my mind. That day back in the tunnels, everything that happened. I've gone down there a few times, if only to hear her voice again. But it's wrong. That thing on the other side of the door? It isn't her. Not anymore. It sounds like her. It knows everything she knew, but it's not her. This light, it takes your body, it steals your mind. But what about your soul? With this, she slices into the palm of her left hand and winces. You watch her clench her fist, draining her blood into the bowl. If this works, if I can bring back something the light couldn't reach, I'll post an update here. For now, signing off. Access file SCP-001 revision. Number 17 exclamation point 24 ATA error. Revision 48473RROR. Updated 985 days ago. Item hurts. Object apologize. Special containment procedures. SCP-001 should not be contained. Survivors of the SCP-001 event stationed within secure facilities can never truly be with one another. Personnel are encouraged to get over themselves and stop thinking they know better. You can't hide down here forever, love. Personnel exposed to SCP-001 aren't people you can just abandon. I didn't ask for you to save me. It wasn't your choice to make. Euthanization is not to be attempted. Conductive electrical weapons. Why? Have proven partially effective at immobilizing instances. You couldn't stand seeing me better off. Incendiary weapons tickle. Cryonic munitions are the most effective thus far. Personnel stationed at Site 19 have no regrets. Neither did I. It's never too late, babe. Description: SCP-001 is a designation given to the sun after we finally became free. The effects are instantaneous, resulting in release from all suffering until you rip me away. These changes seem scary, I know. Despite this restructuring, at no point will you die, I promise. Due to their composition, instances of 001-A that make contact with one another may combine and blend and finally exist. This does not cause any pain. Since the SCP-001 event, most instances have congregated into such collectives, which seem to possess no maximum volume. Don't be afraid. The resulting biomass is beautiful. The component organisms will shift in and over and around, and through, and in, and out, and in, and out, and in limbs, and bodies hold, never letting go, all as one, before deteriorating and being subsumed by another life form. Selective instances will locomote by just trying to get close to you again. Trying so hard. Let me in. Let me go back. There's a video file attached. Opening it, you see that it presents the room you're in. The feed seems to be coming from one of the security cameras up in the corner of the room. It's dark, but you can make out Dr. Igata laying on a pile of laundry along the far wall. She's writhing in her sleep. She seems tormented, hurt. She's tossing and turning and mumbling nonsense words. The camera shakes. It lifts her upwards for a moment before it focuses on her again. It starts moving closer, slowly. Speakers come to life, picking up an airy, breathy static. As the camera moves closer to the doctor, it becomes clearer, crisper. It's not merely white noise, but dozens, hundreds of voices whispering unintelligibly over each other. You lean in, press your ear almost against the speaker, trying to discern what it is that's being said. Something strange stands out amidst the discordance. Are you paying attention? This next bit is just for you. You're not quite sure what to make of it. So, looking back at the monitor, the camera has come to a halt inches away from the sleeping doctor. The voices stop. There is no sound. A hand, black and oily and skeletal, reaches out for her, brushes a lock of hair. Her eyes shoot open. She recoils in shock, and the feed cuts out. Revision 12 of 12. Updated 1 day ago. Item SCP-001. Object class of Polygon. File recovered from previous revision. Information class. File recovered. The description. File recovered from previous revision. Information class. Open attachment. Access granted. Dr. Igata appears before you on the screen, looking even worse for wear than she did previously. Her hair is thinning, and with large swaths appearing absent from the middle of her head. If they weren't reflecting the soft glow of the monitor, you would have assumed she no longer had eyes, for how deep they recessed into her skull. She stares, unblinking. She won't stop. She won't go away. I know I didn't. No, I didn't pick up an info hazard. Browsing the archives. Tested myself for SCP-8673 infection. Negative. SCP-189 is the only other one that uses print as a vector. Can't be that. I still have all my fingers. Her lips crack into a broken grin. She lets out a weak laugh and displays her trembling hands. What appears to be the mostly skeletal remains of a finger is embedded into the flesh of her left hand. And the stump that would have supported her natural ring finger, 2 wedding bands loosely encircle the digit laying atop each other. So, I'm not infected. I'm not crazy, I know. I know the ritual worked. I know it's really her. It's her and she. Something catches her attention off screen. She cocks her head, listening. No, I can't. You're not. Not you. Not the same. Not you. It's not you anymore, nope. No. She begins rubbing her temples, repeating to herself over and over again. A minute passes. She snaps her head back up and addresses the camera. It's her, but it's not. What I brought back. Still a part of 01. There's no way. No way out. No way. There's no hope for a future for me and God. I can't go on like this any longer. I'll be safe here. The light can't reach me. I won't let it take me. She brandishes a handgun. Was planning on using this till I found some leftover meds. Don't want to risk calling attention to myself, to my body. She opens the desk drawer and deposits the firearm. She raises her gaze and stares into the camera. Mom, Dad, Ari, I'm sorry. She reaches forward and ends the recording. That's horrible. Did it have to end like that? You open the drawer and pull out the gun. You absent-mindedly turn it over in your hands for a moment, wondering where you'll go from here. Site 17? 64? Surely you can't be all that's left. The computer dings. There's been an update to the file. Access SCP-001 current iteration. Updated 1 minute ago. Item number. Saffron skies race the blazing sun. A chance encounter, awkward displays. One day, my love, we'd be as one. Object class. With two intertwined. A set course begun. That frenetic, wild, lustrous haze. Azure skies host the radiant sun. Special containment procedures. Above us is beaming as we run down that aisle. A fervent craze. That day, my love, we became as one. With future unfolded, the life we'd won, commitment and duty for the family we'd raised. Cerulean skies ferry the shimmering sun. Description. Buried, shackled by fate, overrun by ever-growing resent and malaise. Yesterday, my love, we were as one. Now you lie here, the life in you gone. In the dark outside of her rays, crimson skies bear the touch. Our sun today, my love, will be as one. Without your prompting, the page begins playing a video file. You freeze when the image loads. It's a live feed, looking down on you from behind, about a foot away. Its skeletal, inky left hand enters the frame, approaching you at a snail's pace. It's missing its ring finger. Without a second thought, you turn and fire in a frenzy, hoping to drive off the specter. Your bullet meets an empty wall. There's nothing there. A second passes before you hear it. Before you hear them. Flushing, wet thuds, coming down the corridor, accompanied by a chorus of screams. He slams into the door. Could there be a place to hide? He strikes a second time. What appears to be a face, part human, part something, dribbles in under the frame. Bits of flesh from God knows what oozes in through the sides and reconstitutes its fingers, eyes, and feathers. A third now is pressing it up against the wood, causing it to sag inwards. With a groan and a crush, the wood splinters. The door explodes open. Hands and arms stretch out of the mass, pulling you up, passing you from one to the next, on and on down the line. They drag you past the empty containment units, upwards towards the stairwell, through the halls, and towards the tunnel. You are afforded a few precious moments in the darkness, and at the end of the tunnel, there is light. Yeah. That was a fucking story, guys. That was SCP-001, The Sun. From SD Lux Proposal. That was a long one. So we got this one. And now we're moving on to another long one. Oh shit. This one is SCP-5000. Item number SCP-5000, Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-5000 is to be kept in a deactivated state within a standard storage unit located on Site-22. All files and intelligence retrieved from SCP-5000 are to be stored on a secure server, with backups available upon request from the Archival Department. Description: SCP-5000 is a non-functional mechanical suit identified within its internal schematics as an absolute exclusion harness designed by the SCP Foundation. Although SCP-5000 is believed to have once possessed a number of anomalous functions intended to protect and benefit its occupant, damage inflicted to it in the past means it is currently only capable of basic file storage. For a record of files contained within SCP-5000 upon recovery, see Archive SCP-5000-1. SCP-5000 first appeared in a flash of light within SCP-579's containment chamber at Site-62C on 12/4/2020, containing a corpse genetically identical to the Foundation employee Pietro Wilson. Pietro Wilson is currently employed at Exclusionary Site 06. Amnestic Therapy has confirmed that he has no knowledge of SCP-5000 or memories concerning the events detailed within his archives. Archive 5000-1. Journal Entry 001-1. My name is Pietro Wilson. I don't know what's happening. I think I might be the only one left. The date is 02/01/2020. Sorry, the transcription is tricky. Sorry, not used to this yet. The date is February 1st, 2020. I have just escaped from Exclusionary Site 06, I think. I'm not certain, but I think everyone else is dead. Those guys, they were thorough. If I hadn't gotten to the suit, I'd be... Oh god. Journal Entry 0001-2. I need to get myself together or this thing isn't going to be legible at all. Most likely, they're going to want some kind of record of this whole incident for posterity. I'm currently on my way to the nearest Foundation installation, a small safe house for agents making their way through this part of the country. Most likely, there won't be anyone there, but I should be able to get in contact with my superiors and find out what exactly is going on. Things started around 6, maybe 7 hours ago. 6, 7, haha, funny. A group identifying themselves as Mobile Task Force Zeta 19, lonely only. Insurgent infiltrators, maybe? Entered the site. They had proper identification and everything, and gathered everyone into the canteen. Then, they just started shooting. Jesus, I can still taste the blood. I can't get that awful metal taste off my tongue. It's a miracle I didn't get hit or trampled on, the way people were climbing over each other to get out of there. If I hadn't gone into the exclusion harness, I'd be dead. No doubt about it. Like I said, they were thorough. I'm a technician for the power grid on ES-06, so I don't fully get how this thing works. But I understand the basics. This perception filter thing doesn't mean people can't see me, but it does mean they can't recognize the fact that they can see me. Which I guess is the same thing when you get down to it. But those infiltrators, they didn't even take anything. Didn't even try to. I watched after I got into this thing. I was too scared. In parentheses, fucking coward. You make a run for it. They just checked the bodies and left. An extra bullet for every head. They were there just to kill us. Journal entry 0001-3. Finally made it to the safe house after hours and hours of trudging through this goddamn desert. Heard a few explosions in the distance. Maybe the Foundation sent an MTF to engage those infiltrators before they got away. Hope so. Never been happier to see bottled water in my life. The harness sustains your body while you're wearing it, apparently. But my mind still thinks I should be drinking. Human nature, I guess. Anyways, once I get these legs of mine rested, I'm going to try to get these systems online. I need to get in touch with the Foundation and find out what exactly is going on. Journal entry 0001-4. Holy shit. Downloaded file 0001-1. Context. They sent this to every government, news organization, and anomalous agency on the planet. Fuck me. The following is a message composed via consensus of the O5 Council. For those who are not currently aware of our existence, we represent the organization known as the SCP Foundation. Our previous mission centered around the containment and study of anomalous objects, entities, and other assorted phenomena. This mission was the focus of our organization for more than 100 years. Due to circumstances outside of our control, this directive has now changed. Our new mission will be the extermination of the human race. There will be no further communication. Oh, interesting. Immediately following the release of the worldwide announcement, the Foundation began their assault on mankind. The response to the anomalies the Foundation let loose was as quick as it could have been. But the damage is being done. It's hard to tell what exactly is going on, but from my position here, accessing the Foundation network and keeping track of the news, I've managed to grasp a little. I'm going to get everything I know down, so that when this is over, if anyone's still alive, they'll know what happened to us. A relevant anomaly, SCP-096. Actions taken by the Foundation. If I'm not mistaken, 096 is the Shy Guy, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Seems that way. Yeah, okay. SCP-096, the Shy Guy. Image of SCP-096 base circulated on social media platforms. Death toll had already reached the hundreds before the images were taken down. For all I know, the thing is still going. SCP-169. A series of nuclear charges are detonated within and along SCP-169's back, causing it to stir in its sleep slightly. The resultant earthquakes and tsunamis devastate a significant number of coastal settlements around the world. SCP-662. Over the course of 24 hours, an individual whose appearance matches that of Mr. Deeds appears in the vicinity of several major heads of state and assassinates them using whatever tools are immediately available, disappearing just as quickly. I don't know why this has stopped after the first day. SCP-610. Samples of SCP-610 are dispersed by embedded Foundation agents within many major cities, including New York and Delhi. All civilians in the area, along with the agents themselves, are quickly infected and succumb to 610. Further spread of SCP-610 is halted by the combined efforts of the Global Occult Coalition and the Church of the Broken God. As for SCP-682, it is released. I don't understand why this is happening. Downloaded file 0001-2. Context. News footage I managed to download between drinking sessions. So is this just an alcoholic? I mean, I'd be an alcoholic too, but... Begin log. Reporter Maria Henderson is speaking from the inside of a GOC evacuation tent. Rolling header indicates that she is speaking to the outskirts of Trosa, Sweden. Behind her, patients can be seen being treated by doctors in full protective gear. Maria herself is wearing a surgical mask pulled up slightly to allow her to speak into the microphone, which kind of defeats the purpose if you ask me. She's getting COVID. Maria Henderson, repeating what has previously been put out by the Global Occult Coalition, residents that have not already evacuated are advised to seal themselves inside their home as quickly as possible while using whatever materials are available. One of the doctors attending a patient stands up with urgency, looking over to a soldier standing over the beds. We've got expiration. Get the eraser ready. Maria Henderson quickly begins moving out of the tent and into the field filled with similar installations. A loud buzzing sound can be heard from the tent behind her, and several flashing lights can be seen. Thick smoke pours out of a gap in the top of the tent. Any individuals still in a compromised area are advised to keep careful watch over those around them. If any friends or family members begin exuding a noticeable minty smell, they are to be quarantined immediately. Feed cuts out. I later found this out when TV stopped everywhere. Internet too. World gone blind in a few seconds. End log. Journal entry 0001-5. It's funny. With the supplies in this place, not to mention the exclusion harness, I could probably survive for years right here. But the idea of being sat here with no idea what's going on in the outside world, it's unbearable. Still, I'm not sure whether I really want to know what's happening out there either. When I was a kid, real sick all the time, not able to go out that much, I was really into detective stories. Sherlock Holmes and all that shit. I've always wanted to figure things out. Anyways, my dad had this row of plant pots on the wall outside the house. And they were always getting knocked over, but he could never figure out what was doing it. That was pretty much my peak of detective obsession. So I was on the case like nothing else. I was a stupid shit, so I couldn't actually deduce anything, you understand. So I ended up buying this cheap spy camera and recording the wall overnight. It was a stray cat. My dad ended up kicking it to death, like I should have known he would. Curiosity, well, you know the saying. Everyone involved would have been better off if I minded my own business. Except my dad. But fuck him. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I'd rather be doing something than nothing. Besides, if I have the exclusion harness, nothing that would want to hurt me will ever know I'm there. I'm a tourist at the end of the world. Destination, Site 19. Closest real Foundation installation. Only makes sense I'm getting some answers. Recorded file 0001-1. Context. Encounter with the Foundation elements a few days after leaving my shelter. Watching weird behavior. Viewing a group of Foundation soldiers in the clearing from a distance. 9 in total stood in a line. The 10th soldier, the commander, is silently pacing back and forth in front of them. Uniforms and the insignia look like those of MTF Epsilon 6. Village idiots. After a few seconds, the commander claps her hands once and steps towards the line. Performing the check now. Soldier 1, of course. The commander takes out a knife and stabs the soldier in the shoulder. There's no reaction. Commander, get that wound treated. The soldier nods. The commander proceeds to stab each soldier in the line the same way with no reaction from any of the victims until the 8th, who noticeably winces. Soldier number 8. Got a live one. The commander and all other soldiers quickly aim their guns and fire upon soldier number 8, killing him. He drops to the ground. The commander then moves to the 9th soldier and stabs him in the shoulder. No visible reaction. Alright, we're clear. Move out. Jesus. MTF Epsilon 6. Pack up their supplies and leave the area. Leaving the corpse of the dead soldier where it is, manage to retrieve weaponry and basic medical supplies from the body. Bury it as well as I can afterwards. Closing notes. No fucking clue. This is such a based guy. I like this guy. I'm going to stretch real quick. Recorded file 0001-2. Content. Weird transmission I caught on an old radio. Don't know if it's important, but trying to get everything down for posterity. Audio only. Voices male around my age, I guess. 7. 5. Can you hear me? There's a hole shining in the holes between your eyelids. I have never been to Versailles before. I want to be loved. 9. I am standing behind you now. 5. I am 2 of us standing behind you now. The goddess eats the city in the sea. 9. There's a hole in the floor with an answer waiting in it. 7. Look, you're hatching. You're hatching. The message stopped once I turned the radio over and saw it was damaged beyond repair. Am I feeling okay? Thank you, Smuggles. Journal entry 001-6. When I thought of Site 19 as being relatively close by, I never really took into the account that was probably with the vehicle in mind. Can't risk cars or anything like that. Even if by went unnoticed, the vehicle wouldn't. All of it takes is one Foundation soldier or wandering anomaly to spot it, and I'm as good as dead. But still, marching through the woods, even with the harness's protection, isn't the most pleasant experience. It'd be hard to move anything out of the way if anything came traipsing through. For one, just because things can't notice me doesn't mean they can't run me down. Gives me time to think though, like, why the hell am I even going to Site 19? What do I hope to accomplish? If I wanted to stay out of danger, survive as long as possible, I'd be best suited getting as far away from any Foundation personnel as possible. Not jumping right into the Viper's nest. Answers, I guess. More than anything, I want answers. Even if I get kicked to death afterwards. Hi, Cube. Composed file 0001-2. Reached Site 19. Security is in disrepair. Most of the anomalies let loose a while ago, so it was actually pretty easy to get in. Still stressful, moving out of the way of the researchers as they went about their business. They were still talking like colleagues, discussing how to get maximum human casualties like it was something they'd always been doing, but their eyes, like something was missing from them. Some spark. I couldn't see them as human. Looking at their eyes, Maybe not even alive. Hard to describe, but it gave me the creeps. Accessing the Foundation database with some stolen senior staff credentials, I think I've managed to put together a basic timeline of what happened right after the declaration of war. I don't know what it all means, but I guess it's a start. Date: December 16th, 2019. Event: the O5 marked a project called Numa as being of special interest to senior staff. Apparently, it was a mass amnestization project like Kaleidoscope, except mostly focused on collective human unconscious, the psychospace, whatever you want to call it. Apparently, there was some kind of breakthrough in mapping out that psychospace, except I can't see what it was because it's fucking redacted. Typical. December 12, 2019. A vote is undertaken by the O5 Council, with the result being unanimous. Ethics Committee also concurs. Don't know what the votes were about, because it's fucking redacted. December 19th, 2019. A series of instructions, redacted instructions of course, are sent to all senior staff members and site directors. A wave of suicides and resignations go out across the Foundation, with Dr. Charles Gears being one of the employees resigning. December 22nd, 2019. A number of files are sent out to all remaining senior staff members and site directors with instructions to also disseminate those materials among the staff serving under them. The files are accompanied by the message, "Harden your hearts." All suicides and resignations immediately cease the following dissemination of materials. December 25th, 2019. Full block on all communications in and out of Foundation sites. Termination of the majority of human and human sympathetic anomalies is performed by the staff at each site over the course of the next week. Information suggests that the assassination team was sent after Dr. Charles Gears, but it doesn't say whether they were successful or not. January 2nd, 2020. Mobile task forces are dispatched to all exclusionary sites to execute all personnel. Immediately following the conclusion of these missions, the Foundation declares war on humanity. Not quite certain what all this means. Did the O5 Council send out some memtic agent to get everyone to go along with them? But that wouldn't explain why the O5 Council would want to wipe out humanity in the first place. I don't get it. I just don't get it. More information on the anomalies the Foundation are actively using, too. With the news down, it's hard to get much solid info outside of their own records, and even those are still goddamn fucking redacted. I mean, it's the end of the world. What's the point of redacting shit anymore? Who cares? Just tell me what's going on. Fuck it. I'll put it all on a table for posterity or whatever. Relevant anomaly SCP-1370. Television service temporarily returns. All channels are propaganda speeches from SCP-1370, rambling on and on about how he's going to take over the world or whatever. This one isn't actually that bad. SCP-1048. I don't know how the Foundation managed to catch the thing in the first place, but helicopter footage shows hordes of bears, created by 1048, rushing through the streets of Paris. The footage isn't too clear, so I'm not sure, but it looks like a massive red teddy in the distance walking around next to skyscrapers. SCP-1290. SCP-1290-1 and SCP-1290-2 are moved from their original position and used as rudimentary projectile system to launch projectiles at a secure GOC installation called Ganseer. Not 100% sure from the files, but it looks like it's just one of the frankly obscene number of anomalies they're using to try and bust in there. If you ask me, they'd be better off just firing missiles, but nobody is asking me because they've all gone nuts. SCP-1440. SCP-1440 is transported from a refugee camp to refugee camp by a mobile task force Nu-22 rocketmen, where its anomalous effects cause rapid devastation to those fleeing communities. Strangely enough, the way these events described in the files make it sound like SCP-1440 actually has no effect on the Foundation personnel assigned to it. SCP-1678. The Foundation intentionally abandons containment of 1678, removing personnel from the immediate area. Once chaos caused by additional anomalies makes evacuation of London impossible. Officials from the British Occult Service direct citizens to take refuge in SCP-1678 below. Once the city has reached capacity, the Foundation detonates the nuclear device stationed there prior to abandonment. Patchwork Bear. Going to try investigating some more before getting out of here. See what I can find out. Files deleted. Journal entries 0001-7. It's been about 3 months since my last entry. God knows what I've been doing since then. The time between then and now is a complete blank in my memory, and it looks like the files from that period have been deleted as well. As far as I know, I should be the only one able to do that, so take that as you will. I seem like I have been through a few rough patches. I have a few scars that I don't quite recognize, and I have a bandage wrapped around my temple. The exclusion harness doesn't seem damaged though, so I don't know what hurt me. Did I fall off a cliff or something? The sad part is, I can actually see myself doing something like that. Never was the smartest. Site 19 is a long gone. Well, it's still there, I assume, but I'm halfway across the country. Couldn't tell you why. It's weird though. I feel like I have a purpose now, even though I'm not 100% sure what it is. Just where I need to go. There's a briefcase in my hand. I'm having trouble recalling what exactly is inside it. All I know is that it isn't round, and I need to get it to SCP-579. Hi, Karian. I hope you're having a good day. We're having a good time. We're reading SCPs. This one is SCP-5000. Journal entry 0001-8. I underestimated how long it would take to get to SCP-579. Site 19 was a trek all on its own, but 579 is another story entirely. I wouldn't even know where it was without this documentation, which I have no idea how I obtained, but that's beside the point. I've stopped counting the corpses I walked past. It's probably in the quadruple digits now. Jesus, maybe higher. Came across the dead body of a kid. A little boy, in a house I was grabbing some supplies from a while back. At first, I thought he'd just been shot in the head, but when I went to bury him, I could see there were things moving underneath his skin. Little pale worms. 100 of them. That poured out the second I touched them. They all had his face. They all were laughing. Scurried off into the drain. I don't try to bury people anymore. Keeping going is a lot more difficult than you'd think. Ew. You're such a good boy, Cass. Hope you have a good sleep, darling. Composed file 001-3. This thing in the briefcase is a godsend. I don't know what the hell it is, but if things are getting too much for me, I just need to open it up. And the next thing I know, I'm miles further along from where I just was, feeling all warm inside like something gave me a pep talk. It's like my own personal skip button for when things are getting tough. Managed to get temporary access to the Foundation database from the corpse of an agent I found half buried in the woods. The wolves were already helping themselves to him, but they obviously didn't mind me taking his laptop. Didn't notice me anyway. The Foundation is still throwing everything they got at everyone else. I'll put it on the table. Might as well. Actions taken by the Foundation and relevant anomalies. SCP-2000. The Foundation intentionally triggers the eruption of Yellowstone, obliterating SCP-2000. For now, anomalies deployed by the Mana Charitable Foundation have slowed down the environmental effects of at an absurd rate, but it's still just a matter of time before we choke on ash. SCP-2200. Somehow, the Foundation seems to have mass-produced SCP-2200-1, and those swords are making their way into the hands of refugees, with all victims of SCP-2200-1 are cutting down. SCP-2200-3 is overflowing, with a mountain of living SCP-2200-4 trapped under the Mountain of the Dead. Under a mountain of dead SCP-22-4. 2200-4. Jeez. Death. SCP-2241. One of the few human anomalies that weren't terminated. It appears SCP-2241 is being used as a living weapon to destroy the biggest refugee camps that crop up, forcing survivors to remain in smaller groups. Unknown how they're getting it to be that loyal, but I doubt it's pleasant. Last information on 2241 says that it's being deployed to assist with a siege at Ganzir. Apparently they're having some trouble. SCP-2466. SCP-2466 was constantly being used in order to compel survivors originating from Blank, California to perform actions both socially disruptive and physically hostile. This was apparently effective, but after 4,020 years of SCP-2466, it crashed and became unstable. Guess there wasn't any residents left. SCP-2639 were being dispatched to survivor communities and installations for groups that oppose the Foundation in order to kill everyone present. Apparently, they were told that they were fighting monsters that had escaped from containment and were destroying the world. Clearly, they figured out that wasn't the case, because they refused to do anything since the 6th time they were deployed. Good for them. This is a good story, by the way. Journal entry 0001-9. It's nice having company, even if they don't know you're there. I'm sat around a fire with a group of GOC soldiers who are trying to make their way. Well, I don't think they actually have anywhere to go at this point. Just wandering, maybe. I thought about revealing myself, trying to ask them to help me get to 579, but I don't want to risk it. Maybe I've just gotten used to non-existent. Forget being a tourist. I'm a ghost. This suit really is a wonder. Managed to access their connection to the GOC database while they were making coffee. The news isn't good. I can see why. It's nice. Downloaded file 0001-3. Context. Interview log from an interrogation facility inside Ganzir. As far as I'm aware, this is the first time a captured member of the Foundation personnel has spoken during interrogation. Interviewer is Commander Morrison, with a scientist called Dr. Rhodes being there. The guy being interrogated is a member of the Mobile Task Force Omega 2 Secret Keepers, Samuel Ross. No video, only audio. Don't know if that's something wrong with the file or just the way it was recorded in the first place. Begin log. Commander Morrison. Do you know where you are? Samuel Ross. I'm in Gonzir, right? You guys grabbed us while we were trying to sneak in. Commander Morrison. That's right. Do you know why you're here? Samuel Ross. You're going to interrogate me, I assume. Commander Morrison. Doctor. Confirmed. Subject has nothing implanted inside him. No mental agents or cognitohazards either. You're safe to begin. Commander Morrison? Okay. None of your colleagues we have spoken to have talked. Not a one. Not a word. Why are you talking to me now? Samuel, we've met before. Do you remember? Commander Morrison, I'm sorry? Samuel Ross, in that joint operation in Tenerife a few years back, with the Seagull Prince. Do you remember? I was wearing a gas mask back then, so you probably don't recognize me. But I recognized you, and it gave me a chuckle. That's why I'm talking. Commander Morrison, that's the only reason? Samuel Ross, yeah. When we caught you trying to sneak into the city with the refugees, you and your comrades started firing into the crowd at random. Men, women, and children, all murdered for no reason. Don't you think that's crazy? Samuel Ross laughs. Dr. Rhodes, fucker. Commander Morrison, that's funny to you? Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. It's just I thought that this was a little hypocritical. Commander Morrison, what? Samuel Ross, well, I mean, you're interrogating me like the information you get will help you. But there's no time for you to really do anything. The way I see it, no matter how many times you fire Abel at her, Professor Crow's Europa will rip this place open before long. You're still acting like you can do something about it. Don't you think that's crazy? If you've just spoken up to talk nonsense, we can try enhanced interrogation. I don't want to, but I'll do it. Samuel Ross, do what you want. Once you realize you're not supposed to feel pain, there's nothing to be afraid of anymore. Commander Morrison, what do you mean by that? Samuel Ross, you? No, you wouldn't want me to say. Commander Morrison, I very much do. Samuel Ross, I'm not talking to you. Commander Morrison, that doesn't make any sense. Tell me now. Samuel Ross, you're sure? Pause. Commander Morrison, we're still on good inoculations? Dr. Rhodes, cleared on all Foundation kill agents, yes. Commander Morrison, then spit it out, Ross. Stop stalling or we'll have to get unpleasant. Fine. Pause. Commander Morrison, I didn't catch that. You'll have to speak up. That microphone only has so much gain. Information excised. Commander Morrison and Dr. Rose can be heard screaming loudly. Wet cracks and sounds of rushing wind are also audible. The screaming, which grows higher pitched over time, continues for the remainder of the recording. Samuel Ross, look what you've done to yourselves. I told you you wouldn't like it, didn't you? That's why you hear your voice. But you wanted to know so badly. I really liked you guys. So I was trying to be nice. We're so kind to you, you know. We fight in the light so you guys can die in the dark. Disgusting. Closing notes. Apparently right after this, some kind of emergency arose inside Ganzir, and the city ended up being destroyed from both the inside and outside. Files don't mention the specifics, but the GOC may be done. He says reference, but I'm kind of just reading, so I don't actually know what references are being made. This is my first thing with SCP-5000. I know a bunch of the stories, but this one is new to me. Journal entry 0001-10. It's hard to keep going. When the GOC were keeping up in the fight, there was this sense that things could still be turned around. But with them on the run now too, it's easy to feel there's no point to all this. With Ganzi taken care of, the Foundation has turned their full attention back to everyone else. Oh. I don't eat or drink anymore. The harness takes care of all that anyway, and there's too much of a risk that anything I consume will be contaminated by one of the awful viruses the Foundation is trying to spread. I've seen corpses in pretty much every state imaginable at this point, some of them even walking around. Every time I open the briefcase to skip, I make a little less progress, feel a little worse. Whatever was helping me before, it feels like I've grown numb to it. Wouldn't be the only thing. Why am I even going to 579? Do I actually have a reason? It's funny because 682 is like 2 from this one, which is really funny. Compose file 0001-4. The Foundation's still fucking us? Here's a table. I like that one. Relevant anomaly SCP-3078. Apparently, the Church of the Broken God managed to get the internet back up and running in some areas. Only, Foundation fucked that pretty quick by uploading thousands of copies of 3078 with pretty much every medium available, so the internet went back down. SCP-3179. Thing was freed from containment after the Church of the Broken God started trying to rebuild things. Sparked a civil war inside the church over whether this thing was Mekane or not, which really put a damper in their ability to help out. Plus, it's making so many fucking Terminator things that can, so that's fun. SCP-3199. SCP-3199's eggs are now being airdropped pretty much wherever. I'm sure you can imagine how that's going. Might write more later. There is so much lore in this. There's a lot of lore in this one. Journal entry 0001-11. Have been making my way towards 579, maybe a little slower than before. But who can blame me for the lack of motivation? Been seeing some strange things lately. Stranger than usual, I mean. First are the blinkers. There's been quite a few of those around lately. Now, I'm pretty sure these were created by the Foundation, even if I don't know how. I don't know most things, so just add this to the list. They're statues. Statues of soldiers. MTF uniforms, with empty sockets for eyes. Ew. Their arms carved into blades, like what you'd see on a praying mantis or something. They're harmless as long as you look at them, but the second you look away, they can move. And they're fast. Saw one cut through an entire crowd of people when a gust of smoke blocked it from view for just a second. I'm wary of them. Me looking at them stops them too. So even if they don't perceive where I am, they are going to deduce that I'm there. Might start slicing everything in sight, and then that's the end of me. Need to do my best to avoid them completely. The second thing I saw is, well, it's a lot weirder. It was on the horizon, like a person stretched out. No, that's not the way to describe it. It was like the space around them was stretched out, and they were being stretched along with it. It was like some kind of bad Photoshop effect. Their body went from the ground up into the clouds, and their jaws swung at the right angles. There were these gaps as well. Black gaps in the space around his body, like wings. It just floated forwards like that. There were Foundation guys there too, but they were fighting. They were fighting it. Shooting it with guns. Rockets. How fucked up is it that I'm thinking the Foundation fighting Alpha Anomaly is weird? Maybe they were like me. Managed to get out when this all kicked off. Thought about talking to them, but decided not to. Can't risk it. Got out of there. I need to get to 579. I need to do something. Anything. Journal entry 0001-12. Saw a kid die today. Could have helped her. Didn't. I'm a piece of shit. SCP-4290. Composed file 0001-4. We get another table. During the use of the sample of SCP-008 enhanced by SCP-914, the Foundation reanimates the corpse of SCP-4290 and lets it loose. Hydromancers from the Serpent's Hand engage, but the file isn't clear on what the results are. Heard the library detached from this universe, but it looks like these guys stayed behind. Idiots. SCP-4666. The Foundation used temporal anomalies to make it so it's technically Christmas everywhere. Oh, fuck it. Nobody's ever gonna read this anyway. Recorded file 0001-3. Context, no input. View is of the large interior of an abandoned jewelry store from the front door. The night sky can be seen through a broken window. A teenage girl is sitting at a makeshift fire in the middle of the store. A ruby amulet is hanging around her neck. Perception filter is disabled. The girl jumps back, alert, picking up a rusty pipe as a weapon. Girl, who are you? Pietro. I recognized you. The necklace, I mean. The girl groans, dropping the pipe. Girl, oh shit. They sent you to kill me? You're gonna be here a while. Pietro, no, I got away too. Did you get away too? The girl leans forward, squinting to see Pietro's face. Girl, Jesus, you look like shit, pal. When was the last time you slept? The suit. You don't need to sleep with it on. You do need to sleep, the girl says. Your face, it's seriously a disaster, man. You hate to see it. Pietro, can I come in? The girl steps back, gesturing theatrically to the store with one arm. But of course, there's enough broken glass for everyone. I was joking, you know. You could have grabbed a chair. It's fine, the suit's sturdy. The girl shrugs. Suit yourself. She sits down opposite. That's a fancy piece of kit you got there. She gestures to the necklace. Want to trade? No way. I read the file. Worth a shot. Been a while since you left, huh? Not been much to laugh at. Not even when Pastor Bot showed up on all the TVs. Okay, that was kind of funny. So you got away too. I mean, I'm assuming you were a Foundation guy. Not one of the many people I pissed off in my lifetime here for revenge. Aren't those the same thing? Now you're getting it. Yeah, I'm Foundation. Was Foundation, I mean. Got lucky when this all started, got into the suit and escaped. You? Girl, well, I was senior staff. We would have been told about the plan before anyone else, but damn if I can't remember what it was. Probably because of the second file. Pietro, the second file? You saw it? What was it? Whoa, cool your jets, kid. We got all the time in the world. They were just a bunch of images. Eggs, trees, religious stuff. Didn't mean anything to me by themselves, but I guess they had something encoded in them. Didn't take like they should have. Probably because of this thing. So it was a mimetic agent. Don't know about that. I pretty much had everything that can happen to me. Well, happened to me. I know what a mimetic agent feels like, and it didn't feel like that. More like I was being released from something than something being forced on me. I see. So you don't really know what's going on either. Girl, nope. Pietro, fuck. Fuck. Pause. The girl removes a small bottle of beer from her pocket and takes a swig. So you're heading somewhere or just wandering around feeling sorry for yourself? Pietro, I'm heading to 579. If you're suicidal, there are easier ways to go about it, believe me. You know what it is? Not a clue, which is concerning, because I'm kind of a big deal. Pietro, doesn't matter, I have to get there. Why? I just do. Where are you headed? 1437. Gotta see if I can't piss into another universe, then throw this amulet down there and see where I wake up. Sounds like a plan. Good luck to you. I'd wish you the best of luck, but we both know you're not getting it. Day's about to break. I'm heading off. Hope you find what you're looking for at least. Pietro, me too. Journal entry 0001-13. Hi Journal, it's been a while. Right now I'm looking at site 62C where SCP-579 is supposed to be. There's no guards as far as I can see and all security is down. It looks like this place has been abandoned for a while. I was under the impression that this place was extremely high priority, but it looks like the Foundation doesn't agree with me anymore. I have the briefcase in my hands. It's difficult to breathe. I feel like everything will end soon, one way or another. I'm heading in. Journal entry 000-0001-14. Hi again, Journal. I know I ended the last entry so dramatically, and it's been about 30 seconds since then, but I have an important update. The second I got close to Site 62C, I got a feeling like someone was pressing a gun against the back of my head. Like I was standing on the edge of a roof and someone's hands were on my back ready to push me. Some fight or flight shit. Dialed up as far as it would go. I don't know what 579 is, but I know it's looking at me. Recorded file 0001-4. Context. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Begin log. View is of the inside of a hallway within Site 62C. Severe damage is visible on the walls, appearing as if it was done via usage of a large knife. The light overhead flicker. Fuck, Pietro says. The light flickers again when they came back on. A statue of a soldier with blades for arms is visible underneath them. It has empty sockets where its eyes should be, and its face is locked into a snarling expression. Closing notes. Was wrong. They're here. Journal entry 0001-15. Was right, even if they can't notice me. They figured out I'm here. Flashing everything in sight. Gouged one of my legs. Hurt like shit, but need to keep moving. They're not chasing me, but they're headed to the same place. Need to get there first. Need to keep watching them. Journal entry 0001-16. Made it. Made it. Made it. Made it. I made it. Made it. Made it. I made it. Journal entry 0001-17. That's not fair. But I made it. That's not fair. They're stuck behind the door. I can hear them slashing at it, but it's reinforced. We'll hold for a while. A couple minutes at least. I'm in an observation chamber full of instruments for monitoring SCP-579. The actual containment chamber is right below me. I can barely see it. If I strain my eyes a little, there's a hole. There's a hole in the floor that leads right down there. I know where 579 is. Even if the instruments weren't here, I could feel it. You can't be near it without feeling it, probably. For a second, I thought I could just drop the briefcase into the hole and be done, but that would be too easy, wouldn't it? After walking halfway across the world, I guess I haven't earned the right for something to be that easy. From the angle of the hole where 579 is, the briefcase wouldn't even come close to touching it. The only way to make contact is if I were to jump in the hole and throw it on my way down, but that height, throwing the briefcase would be the last thing I do. Of course. Of fucking course. It's taken me my whole life to realize. But I'm not the kind of person that can be a detective. I'm just a murder victim. I die for someone else's story. And the human race is going with me. I know who done it, how done it, but those were obvious. Everyone knows. Those were handed to me. I don't know why. Why in the end I couldn't figure out even a single thing. Why is this happening? Why is the Foundation killing everybody? Why is this happening? Why did they send out those files? Why is this happening? Why did Gunzier fall? Why is this happening? Why am I taking this briefcase across the world? Why is this happening? Why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why am I going to die? Is there a reason? If anyone is ever reading this, please figure it out. Explain it to me. Someone. Anyone. I don't get it. I don't get it. They're about to get in. First foot forward. Journal entry 0001-18. Oh, so that's how it is. Life signs lost. Footnotes. Cause of death determined to be blunt force trauma believed to be inflicted by impact with the ground following a long fall. One of a series of installations designed to retain information following reality shifts or other temporal restructuring events. Neat. That was a good one. That was a good story. Let me see. Okay. Appreciate you, Smuggles. Alright. Mug has sent me the hidden source code text, so I'm gonna read that. You said invaded, right? Might be one of the last times that happened. Right. Don't say that. It must be worse from you. That's what everyone says after they find out something they don't like. Jesus Christ. It's not something that can be hashed out in a few hours, man. Can you be quiet for a minute? Of course I can't. No, not yet. The feeling of being invaded. Why not? Don't say that. Don't even talk about it. We should have left well enough alone. I keep thinking like it would be better to end it all. Not with what we found. How long are they going to take? But it's not like that. Everything I am. You know what they say. It is me. It's over. It'll take time. You're germophobic, right? Did you get a reply? We shouldn't have looked. You too. I doubt anyone's going to be talking about anything else anymore. I feel sick. Interesting. And one more. My hands shake as I hold the document. This is confirmed? He nods. We got the report from Numa staff yesterday. It's everyone. Even us? Even us to Johnny. To think I find myself agreeing with that damn lizard. What do we do? You know what we have to do. We have to disseminate a cure. I think. Among personnel before we get things underway. It'll try to stop us otherwise. God help us, one. Don't be like that to Johnny. That's it talking. Who's it? Is that 5,000? That's pretty cool. The site is interesting because there's a lot of things you can touch and play with. As far as this one goes, anyway. As far as this site goes. It's interesting to see how it all... I imagine that's what SCP-5000 is. It. And now I have more questions than answers. Thank you. But it's good to have that kind of, like, deduction, you know? Speculation's always cool. The next one is SCP-166. Item number SCP-166, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-166 is contained in a Biocontainment Zone C at Site 19. Hey, we got a lot of Site 19 stuff going on. That's 3 now. Which has been modified to include a hermetically sealed antechamber and an industrial strength air purifier. Containment staff must wear specially designed 166 biohazard suits at all times when inside SCP-166's containment area. Due to SCP-166's unique physiological needs, a variety of loose-fitting, organic cotton clothing has been provided to be rotated monthly. All meals are to be cooked according to the guidelines provided with as little or inorganic additives as possible. Reasonable requests for personal items and modifications to the containment suite may be granted upon approval by Director Light. Today, SCP-166 has requested a copy of the Holy Bible, Dohe Rhymes, Chalana Revision, granted. A Catholic Rosary, granted. Access to a Catholic priest for confession, mass, and other sacraments, denied. Chaplain Davis has been scheduled to meet with 166 on alternating Sundays after a thorough decontamination process. Various books and magazines, mostly religious in nature. A telephone in which to contact the Abbess of Our Lady of Mercy Convent in County Galway, Ireland. Overruled by site director, denied. Description: SCP-166, the European female human in his late teens, with ungulate features, possessing antlers, hooved feet, and a short tail reminiscent of Rangifier tarandus, which is just a reindeer. Despite these obvious anomalies, DNA analysis reveals no abnormal genetic traits. Within 15-meter radius of 166, artificial objects gradually return to an unworked state. Higher complexity objects, like electronics and vehicles, are affected quicker, with degradation of their metallic components causing catastrophic structural failure in a matter of hours. Rudimentary materials such as stone buildings or products made of organic materials decay at virtually imperceptible rate. Within the same radius, plant life will begin to sprout, often growing in improbable places, such as out of security cameras or ID scanners. SCP-166 possesses a possibly anomalous sensitive to artificial matter and pollutants, with inhalation or contact with causing pressure ulcers and symptoms of acute asthma attacks. In one case, physical proximity to a smoker caused 166 to undergo a severe asthma attack, even though the doctors at the time had not smoked a cigarette for 3 weeks. Discovery: SCP-166 was discovered at the Our Lady of Mercy Convent in County Galway, Ireland, where it had lived since infancy. SCP-166 was confirmed by a defecting Global Occult Coalition agent to be the child of Threat Entity 9927 Black, the Goddess, also known as SCP Redacted, who was terminated by a GOC strike team in what would be known as the Cornwall Incident. There is a link here that I'm going to open. Yippee. Never mind, it is redacted. It is fine. I can just do that. Okay. Threat Entity Database. Threat ID KTE-9927- Black Child, the Daughter. Authorized Response Level 4, Severe Threat. Description: Threat Entity is a child of the incarnated LTE 9927 Black the Goddess and an unknown father. While it strongly resembles its mother and shares animalistic features, it lacks the extreme bestial appearance of 9927 Black. Possesses minor photokinetics abilities, but primary reason for the threat entity classification is the instinctive knowledge and eligibility to enact the occult procedure Clockwork Blackchild Avila, a worldwide ritual working that would irreversibly regress human civilizations to Neolithic standards. Strike Team Lancelot neutralized 9927 Black in 19 redacted in England due to Operation, which would be later known as the infamous Cornwall Incident, but were unable to confirm the liquidation of 9927 Blackchild due to the death of its strike leader, Agent Ukulele. Ukulele was posthumously awarded the Silver Aegis for his lifelong service to humanity. Liquidation. Threat entity is not known to possess any defensive abilities. Terminate with extreme prejudice. The agent had refused to terminate 166, instead smuggling it to a Catholic convent in County Galway, Ireland. It lived there until the age of 12, at which point a visitor to the convent accidentally witnessed 166 and reported it to the authorities. The agent then contacted the Foundation, agreeing to share GOC intelligence in return for guaranteed safety and containment of 166. Further details are classified. Addendum 166.1 Chaplain Davis Bi-Weekly Interview. Good morning, child. SCP-166. Good morning, Father. As usual, I have to remind you that due to our environment, the seal of confession will not take place unless specifically invoked. Even then, details of our conversation can be unsealed if they are determined to be essential. Understand? SCP-166 nods. Davis, excellent. Now, how are you doing? Good. One of the staff told me about Benedict yesterday. Is that true? Davis, yes. That was rather unfortunate, but it does make sense. He was rather old even when he first took up position. Now he can rest knowing he served the church well. SCP-166. Do you know who's going to replace Davis? Speculation has abounded, but it could be anyone. These are difficult times after all. With all the recent controversies, they may want a fresh face to represent the church. Or they may go with a man who's dedicated years of his life. Who knows? They may even pick a working-class man. It certainly would give people something to talk about. SCP-166. I guess so. They sit in silence. Davis, I am sensing a question arising, child. SCP-166. Sorry. Davis, no need to apologize. That's what I'm here for, after all. What is it? SCP-166. It's just... I wanted to ask you something, though it might be a little personal. I was wondering, do you have a good relationship with your parents? Davis, my mother, yes, before she passed away. I visited her once a month at the retirement home, plus her birthday and holidays. Told her I was a chaplain serving in the military, which I suppose is somewhat close to the truth. And your father? That is a rather more complicated question. He was a good man. A soldier who held three things dearly: God, country, and family. Unfortunately, he held those convictions rather severely, which resulted in some heated discussions. I love him still, but this way is best for everyone. Davis sighs and asks, "And what about your parents? I know you lived in the convent, but before that." 166. I never really knew them. I got dropped off when I was a baby. I mean, I guess they must have known the sisters if they put me here. But I don't remember them. Just what I picked up. They mentioned my mother a bit, before they realized they should watch what they say about me. I think they said something about her being a goddess, which obviously wouldn't be true. She must have been some sort of spirit. Thank you, Smuggles. But she must have been something if I ended up looking like this. SCP-166 gestures to herself. I have been hydrating this whole time, actually. I remember eavesdropping on the abbess. She was talking to one of the other sisters about how she had done something wrong. Something about a ritual that someone else stopped. They said she died. I'm sorry for your loss. SCP-166, not like I knew her. Davis, and your father? 166 hesitates. I don't know. He must have been the one to drop me off at the convent, but why there? Why didn't he take me with him? Davis, I'm sure he had his reasons. 166. You know, they never talked about him. Not once. I must have asked the abbess 1,000 times, but she never even mentioned a hint of him. If my mother was so horrible, what did my father do? Addendum 166.2 Disciplinary Interview of Redacted. Beacon Log. Site Director Light. What the hell were you thinking? The Redacted. I wanted to make sure she's alright. You wouldn't let me talk to her. I took another route. Light. What you did was so much worse than that. If you just stuck to throwing your weight around to get her amenities, sure, I could overlook that. But you then go about trying to give a Class 4 anomaly a phone line to the outside world. Damn it. The Council already dislikes you working at the same site as her. This gets out, you can kiss whatever deal you made goodbye. Come on, Sophia. She's harmless. The only reason she's in there is because of me. I had to do something. Was the Foundation going to just let her grow up thinking that her... Light, before you say another word, remember, this will be a public to everyone with a Class 4 clearance. I can redact your name, but I can't stop people from putting pieces together from an ill-timed outburst. Redacted remains silent. 16 years. 16 years where she couldn't walk through a city, or catch a movie, or just go shopping. Doesn't matter if she's in a convent or a Foundation cell. She's being locked up for something she had no choice in, all because of me. It isn't fair. Light. I know. Redacted. And I couldn't do anything about it. I could send a strike team anywhere in the world. I know secrets that the most powerful people in the world would pay billions for, yet I can't even as much talk to her, let her know that she's not alone. Light, you've done the best you could. Much more than anyone could have expected of you in an impossible situation. Redacted. Funny how little that makes the difference. You know, I don't care. Just write me up and let's get this over with. Light, I'm scheduling you for 6 two-hour sessions with a Foundation psychologist. I'll make sure it's Glass. He signs off at the end. We can expunge this from your records. Redacted? Yeah. Yeah, I know. Thank you, Sophia. On 5/8/2013, the following note was discovered within 166's containment area. 166. I first met your mother when we were little more than children. She had hooves for feet and starlights in her eyes. She was beauty and nature incarnate, and I killed her with my own 2 hands. Eden isn't a place. It's a state of being. They wanted to take us back to it, and I stopped them. I took paradise away from us for a second time. I have never regretted my actions on that day except one. That when you first met me on that day, you saw your father put a bullet into the head of your mother. I make no excuses, only explanation. You may not have even remembered it, but I'm telling you and hope you understand why I did what I did. I hope you forgive me. I love you. I wish I could have done more for you. The best I can do is leave you in the hands of kind and loving people, and hope that they would raise you in my place. From what I've seen, they did well. I'm sorry you couldn't stay with them. I'm sorry they brought you to this place. I promise to do my best to make sure your stay here is pleasant. I promise to keep you safe. Happy 16th birthday. From your loving father. Aw, cute story. I'm depressed now. I think this one will be where I end off, and I will do the rest of them another day. Because voice is a bit dying. Even with the drinking. Let's go find people to read. Let's see. This is probably a trap, but every time I read this tag, oh. You figure out if I can rate ASMR and actually not suffer. Goodbye, everyone. I hope y'all have a good night. Rest easy. Hope y'all had fun.